Welcome back, Fresh Bake, for another update on construction progress going on around the Disneyland Resort. And like last week, we have a little help from a friend. Dustin has given us some tips on how to analyze the footage that we're about to show you. Thank you very much, Dustin, for your assistance, and let's get on with it. We've got lots of stuff to talk about here on Emotional Whirlwind as we're on the Pixar Pal around, not the least of which is all that stuff that's going on around the left side. There's a lot of progress or a lot of stuff happening around where the tents are. That's the queue, obviously. And those gray pipes that are sitting there, or that are coming up out of the ground there, look to be electrical of some kind. That's probably an entryway for the guests to enter the actual ride platform from the queue. You can see, it's hard to pick up with the through the lens, but you can see, we saw it pretty easily with our eye. There's a fence that they've installed, which I don't remember seeing before, and that fence looks to be forming sort of a perimeter for the queue. They'll eventually paint that purple, so it's very likely that that's going to be the way in to the attraction. Meanwhile, as we pan left, this is an area that we saw them working on early on in the process, and it looks like now they have. Well, we can kind of tell that this is going to be that area that we saw them pour with the forms, the concrete. The concrete has been put in. You're likely going to see that's another access way in. You're going to go up that ramp and then probably into the covered area by the tents. And you can kind of see how that works with the concept art. You can see those guests walking up the ramp there with those purple fences, which you can't really see here again, but maybe we'll try to pick those up next week. By the way, check out the couple admiring something to the left. I want to know what they're looking at, what's caught their attention, looking away from Emotional Whirlwind in that concept art. What you got to look at over there? I want to know. And there again, you can see the ramp, the exit ramp that we watched them build as of last week. They poured the concrete there. Okay, lots going on back here in this corner. You can see they put up this wood railing right here, and then behind that, another form is going up or has gone up. Now, I'm not sure if that's the final place for that form, but another, the curved form there, they're going to start appending more of that, huge purple structure that we see in the concept art. They're going to be appending, more to that. It has to be, right? Because it's not finished. And you've got some sandbags and another form going up right here. This curved form, that's probably going to create more of a perimeter or a border for the stage, as it were, for Emotional Whirlwind. Switching over to Marvel Land, and there's an excavator there for some reason. We don't know quite why it's there. It could be preparing to dig, or it could have just been parked there for some reason, but an excavator has shown up. I tried looking in, I tried zooming in to that building, but that was the extent of how far I could see in there. Even if I were to focus in further with the software, I would be focusing into blackness, darkness. It won't lighten that view at all, I'm afraid. So that's the extent of what we're going to see there. We won't be able to see inside that building. And there's not a lot of progress going on with that addition that we've been, the extension of the Bugs Life Theater section of that building. Now, I did want to, though, there's a lot of activity going on the heart of Marvel Land, and we'll stop here to take a look at a few things. If we zoom in, you can see that they put in, there's a lot, they're staging, they're preparing to do some major work, likely water lines, for sewage or something to that effect, and those appear to be shoring. They're going to be building or digging some deep trenches here, it looks like, in the very near future, because we saw that at Galaxy's Edge when they had to put in those deals to shore up the sides of the trenches so that they don't they don't cave in. Again, that was thanks to Dustin for pointing that out. So, it looks like they're getting ready to do something pretty intense in that section back there with all those trucks, earth movers, etc. There's a guy. There's got one guy. Why am I? There's nobody ever working when I do these. Just got that one guy walking through the dirt. Don't really know what he's doing or where he's going, but and you can actually see here over, away from that other area, you can see that they are in fact digging some kind of hole. Hard to say, what its function will be, but I mean they're actively digging there. You've got probably sewage again, water pipes of some kind. A couple weeks ago, I observed this building and these trees that were left behind. Actually, I had observed only the trees that were left behind, but when we went to Luigi's this past Saturday, and I noticed that wall there from Luigi's. You can see that wall over the wall, and I had wondered if they had built that or if they left it behind. And obviously, that was a like I think those are used to sort of soundproof the land. That was a perimeter that separated Bugs Land from Cars Land, and you put those walls up to block some of the sound, and then you cover that wall with trees to give it a natural look. However, when they demoed Bugs Land, it looks like they didn't take down that wall, and that's a curious thing for me. They left the trees, so the trees have some purpose for the future, and they also left the wall behind. Now, that wall will probably come down eventually. We saw this again at Galaxy's Edge, where they left up parts of Big Thunder Trail for a while, and we kept wondering, why did they do that? And Dustin had pointed out that you can see on the wall that there's a utility connection there, and it's possible that they need that utility connection, at least for the short term, until they move on or get whatever use they have out of it, and then they'll take that wall down. But the trees will probably be staying. I'm trying to see how far I can stretch the camera to the right here to pick up anything going on behind what we have generally accepted to be the perimeter of Marvel Land, but it's hard to see. In the coming weeks, I'm also going to be looking in the backstage proper, the areas behind Mission Breakout even, to see what progress is going there. I've heard Disney is building another cast member building behind or in that general area there, so I'm curious to see how that plays in the future. Over on Mission Breakout side, I decided to take a look over the wall to see how things look from here, and it's very, very bare. You can see all the way, like we saw before, to Cars Land and Cadillac Range. Those cranes are not ours. Don't trip. They've been there for a long time. Those are for the convention center. And there's the tissue box. That's eventual future Spider-Man there. And that will be connecting to the queue into the Spider-Man attraction. Let's go to Disneyland. They finished the Mark Twain. The queue is done. And who had in the pool table seating in the Mark Twain queue area? Who had that in the pool? I didn't. I didn't have table seating. But lo and behold, that is exactly what they've done. And I must say, great idea, because all it takes, that is a bottleneck waiting to happen. Big Thunder Trail, the area between Big Thunder, Mark Twain, and the snacks area there. All it takes is a couple of people who can't find a place to sit to just stop and eat their food, and you've got gridlock. So even though it's only, 8 tables, maybe 10 tables, it makes a big difference for traffic flow. Plus, you can see they've moved up the turnstile, so you don't cross the turnstile until you're almost ready to board the Mark Twain, which opens up that other area. It's interesting that they did that. I'd like to know. I mean, I feel like that is better, but I'd like to know if they had if there's more of a scientific or, ergo, I don't know the word I'm looking for, a more elegant reason why they did that. And that would explain, by the way, why they dug that trench for electrical, because they had to move, because that thing is electric. There is, there's a counter in there, and there is parts of that feed a database of some kind, with that turnstile information. So they probably had to extend the electrical work from its previous location to this new location. While on the Mark Twain, we took another pass at these construction walls here around the this area in New Orleans Square. I can't tell still what their objective is. Now, this actually brings to mind, and we're going to cut to this in a second, the repair that's complete at Town Square when you first entered Disneyland, where they had construction walls up. And actually, we'll go there now. I'm sure you remember these construction walls. Well, they're down, and this is how things look today. Tree has survived, the roses have survived, the grass has survived, but you can see down there on the ground where they've redone the planter area, the curb. So what did they do? Well, let's take a look at how things looked previously. And you can see that they've narrowed it just slightly. Where the flowers are, the border of the new area just approaches that, and the light pole is completely gone. So they've just narrowed it there. And that, again, while it doesn't seem like a lot, if you've ever exited Disneyland on this side during a parade or fireworks or what have you, things can get really, really ugly in this area, and any space that creates, another shoulder's width for people to pass and get out is welcome. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out when I leave during a parade one of these days. But there you go. That's they've trimmed that planter just a bit and taking out that light pole. Back in Frontierland, nothing new to report here in front of the dry goods. But we do have reports from Sleeping Beauty Castle. First of all, just like we called last week, they have, in fact, put up construction scrims around that turret or whatever. They are going to repaint that one, probably to that blue. Same thing, there's another one matching over on the left. Now, if we peek through a knothole, you can see a little rebar down there. And a curb, but that's not a curb actually. That's a curb. And you can see the curb there. You can see the form just above the curb there. That's a planter. They are going to raise that level up. It looks like it's a curb, but it's not. This area right here. You're going to see more gravel or some kind of dirt or whatever layer to bring that up, and then pour new concrete in that area. Let's take another look right down the path of the bridge to the castle. And that looks to be some kind of railing that they've taken down or removed from somewhere. And there again, you're going to see that come up. You're going to see new concrete there. The jury's still out on whether or not they're going to lower that curb or not. I'm not sure. But the reason why you're seeing concrete gone and then the other concrete staying, because that's a tonal change or color change in the concrete. When you look down from above, you'll notice that there's like a regular gray concrete, then the colored, and it creates sort of a pattern in the ground. They're leaving that behind and then putting in the new gray concrete. Now, before we move on, we have these photos that Mice Chat took, which are pretty great. These Mice Chat photos, they've definitely got somebody over the wall for these, which is, go for it, be my guest, right? Because they're really good shots, very clean. And you can see again that that's what I was talking about before with the separation. You got the colored concrete is staying, and then regular gray concrete will be poured on either side of that. Here's another shot, and it creates this pattern. It creates like a pattern in the ground. But they're well on their way to repouring that. So that's the ground level. Actually, is what you're seeing. It's not a curb. That's ground level. And while we're at it, we've got this photo also from Mice Chat, and they've gone over the wall at the area that they're working on at Autopia. As you round the corner, turn left into Autopia. If you're leaving, let's say, the monorail or Nemo, this is your view. Now, definitely, they have taken out a whole bunch of vegetation, a whole bunch, of trees and bushes and stuff like that. But what's new or what's interesting, if you take a look at this image, you can see that that planter that we saw in the Mice Chat photo is a brand new planter. That blue concrete planter, that's brand new. Fresh paint, fresh everything. Because if you look back at the old stuff, the paint was definitely a different shade of blue. And you had those bushes surrounding the trees. They're minimizing the amount of vegetation there. They've closed that off quite a bit. Now my question is, this isn't really a traffic problem in this area. I mean, there's definitely an issue with strollers here. Lots of stroller parking in this section of Tomorrowland. But it's more closer to the monorail than it is to Autopia. So I'm curious if that is the goal here. It was just to create a little more room for the strollers. But if we go back to the Mice Chat photo, what you're seeing here, it looks like that is going to be the extent of the planter. The planter will end with the blue concrete there, and they're going to pour that. You see the curved form there. They're going to pour regular concrete there, then close it in with a patterned concrete around the curved form. Let's take this party over to the downtown Disney parking lot, where you can see that they have put up some fences. They're getting ready to close off some areas. Look, there's a gate coming right here. I don't know if it's going to be an entrance or not. That's interesting because that is an unused area right now. No cars come in or out of this area. It is closed for business, but it used to be obviously a gate. So I'm assuming that they're going to maybe bring that thing back from the dead. Moving on, there's a shot of the downtown Disney bag check area as we pull all the way back into the middle of the parking lot, and you can see fence, green fence, and then no parking. So I would say right now a third, I'm guessing that's about a third of the downtown Disney parking lot has been closed off so that they can start working. And there you can see some earth movers and some trucks. They're definitely getting ready for business. Back there before, we saw just the one earth mover. It had been there, parked there for a long time. Now you've got a couple semis and some other deals. So work is ready to begin, obviously. There's another gate right here. Interesting, gate right there. Gate for what? Well, I didn't even register when we were looking at this that day on Saturday. Why is there a gate paint? Because that's new. That's new paint, you guys. That was not there before. Why is there a gate here? This is definitely a non-gate zone. Before there was just parking here, and I'm wondering if maybe we're losing this section of the parking lot permanently. Constructionizers, theorizers, tell me what you think. And there's a look at those cars. Should not be parked there. They ninja'd those spots. Nasty parkers. But there's Liz. Hi, baby. There's a pile of dirt. That dirt is not. They didn't dig that dirt up. That dirt is there to get ready to pour concrete. They're going to start working on stuff here in short order, and that dirt is used, or soil or gravel or whatever, to lift up the ground once they break it down, to lift it up and prepare it for a new concrete pour. Over at the Mickey and Friends parking structure, or Clio, or Pixar Pals parking structure, here's a shot from the ground. Next week I'm going to show you hopefully where I think the bridge is going to extend. We forgot to shoot that on this day, but hopefully I think I know where the bridge is going to be. And then here's a shot from the top of Mickey and Friends. Still got some time to go on this. Now down here at the left, on the very left border, they are getting ready though to pour some concrete here as well. You can see we saw them digging holes before. Now they've poured some concrete. They're planters. Those are planters that we're looking at right there. You can also see a curved area. That's going to be probably, the tram is going to curve around that, I'm sure, and go under the new guest hub area. Yeah, and you can see some electrical in those planters too. So probably going to be some light poles, propping up out of, along with some trees or something like that. And by the way, you can see I don't know what they call those things, the flattener. They brought in one of those guys. He's going to flatten the ground or the concrete. Now I'm imagining the path of the tram will go under there. You can see there's kind of a pathway through there, and then make its way into the Mickey and or the Pixar Pals parking structure. Just not entirely sure where yet, at what point. And you can also see that it looks like they're digging more holes there at the entrance to the lower, the ground level entrance to the structure. And I'm wondering if those are going to be planters also. And does that predict, them defining a way for guests to go in? The concept art for the parking structure doesn't give us many tells because it never got down to the ground. Everything is obscured by trees, but you can definitely see a pattern of those trees creating lanes, if you will. They're in rows like you would see on a farm or something like that. There are rows of trees, and they do create lanes into the parking structure. So it is my guess still that the tram will load and unload under the parking structure, inside of the parking structure's perimeter, not outside like it used to back in the day. And then we'll close with these last shots. I haven't been over to this side of the parking structure in quite a while because our view was blocked, but this has really come a long way. That's near finished there. You can see a lot of smooth concrete there. Everything is pretty much finished. They're just putting in, that looks like an elevator there. They're putting in, but this is our final view almost of the structure. Fascinating. We'll come back in a few weeks and look at this and see how it's going with the concrete and stuff like that. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next week. Fresh baked. We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh baked.